Hey everyone, Marsh from Consequence here. I wanted to go over Dathea, and I pulled up our spreadsheet here, and what I'm probably going to do is just put this in another spreadsheet and make it public once we're done with all the bosses. So it'd be in like our Razagath guides description, but right now I'm not going to do that because I would like to put everything in there. But Dathea is a boss that requires a lot of setup and understanding how mechanics work to make it as easy as possible. So what you'll see here is the setup we have, or the setup I have for the boss. Up here is just the roster we were planning on running. I usually set these like a few days in advance, or even like a week in advance, and then like make minor updates. Down here, you'll see the core strategy of the fight. Um, in fact, I can add to this boss. So, Warlocks we use to basically damage the boss the whole phase, or the whole fight. They didn't go up at all. They're spec'd fully into single target. And the reason I chose Warlocks is because they can basically just be like they can't die. Like they can deal with the knockback really well. They do pretty competitive single target. So they're a really safe class to take. However, any class can just sit down and hit the boss. A lot of guilds use like rogues and stuff to do that. But anything would work. Like BM Hunter is also another really good class at doing that. So you have a lot of options. And then from there we set up the groups for going up. And then we can see I did here is I have the timer for about when you want to go up in the encounter. And these timers are very important because what this means is DPS are going to want to plan their cooldowns accordingly to meet the DPS checks from going up there. So in the first group here, the 130 group, and it will really depend on what you want to do. So, some of these classes have mini cooldowns, and our core strategy was to have the mage basically CD down the big guy, and from there everything else would come together. Also, the shaman's Ellie. So that is the idea of the fight. Now you can go onto our logs and look at who used CDs exactly where, because things were being swapped around a bunch, so I don't know off the top of my head. But that's the idea. So you have the first group, which is also the third group, and then you have the second group, which is also the fourth group. And each group has their own idea. And actually, something's wrong here. We actually added a healer on this group. Some groups like to solo heal that up, but it's just safe for that 2 down at this point. So this is actually the final. This is 2 healers. So that's the idea, and the mage is solo for taking it down. Now the second group, like the hunters for example, the marksman hunters, they would hold their true shot for this. And the mage would also go up there and CD the ad down. The evoker would hold their CDs. Incarn would just be coming up. So that's how the second group operated. But again, you can look at our logs and see exactly what people did. Now, I'm going to get to this later. This is also not fully accurate anymore because things changed. But we'll talk about the app platforms in a second. I want to hop over to the fight because a few things that need to be discussed on how to handle this fight. So first off, you'll see markers down at the ends. We also use an auto marker weak aura, which I think you can get off of Wago, that will mark them on pull. So like right now they're marked, but they're not like actually marked. Like these are just ground markers, but like the physical objects can be marked, which is how you make the standard weak aura work. And we'll just go through it. So the first thing you will notice is, okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that we want to charge this first one as fast as possible. Now, The reason for that is, we'll just play through it. So this is our disc priest, and the disc priest's job is to charge this 6 times. But he will do like the first 4. So he gets the first mark. Sometimes he doesn't get a mark, but he dumps the first mark, and you see our weak aura here counting 1. So he's actually duplicating the mark from someone else and stacking it up to 3 times. Okay, so he doesn't get the mark, he'd still do that, but he'd have to duplicate it 1 more time. Now the other marks are ready to go. We go up to a 3 stack. You could literally go up to a 4 stack on, maybe even a 5 stack on pull because you have less going, and usually a healer will be doing some type of ramp or a cooldown. But we go up to 3 for safety, and then we're going to dunk 2 or 3 more, probably 2, and then 1. So the way that mechanic works is every time you dunk, it's almost like the bursting affix in Mythic Plus. Every time you dunk, the whole raid takes a stacking dot. The more you get, the more damage you take with the dot. So the general rule of thumb is to get 2 stacks only. 2 stack, drop. 2 stack, drop. Except for the rip here, we go 3 stack, 2 stack, 1 stack. So now we're at 6. At 10, the ad will come out. And the reason we did that is because we want to increase the speed of the fight for getting the first ad out, which probably was a pretty poor way of saying that. But if you don't duplicate the mark, you'll need an additional mark set to charge it to 10, and we want to get the ad on the second mark set because it makes the rest of the fight work out really, really clean. So we have 6 here. And now we're going to get marks again, and they're going to do 2 and 2. So that guy dunked. 2. We're going to wait. 1, 2. The winds are pulling him in, but he got it. And now we have the ad. Now, if you did not spawn the ad here, you would have marks coming in 8.6 seconds, and then the ads coming in 23 seconds. So you basically have to full target this with no cleave at all, just full single target. But with this out, it gives you an extra like 10 seconds of leeway with the ad, which is what you want. So here we want to get interrupts on this ad. Now, one thing that groups mess up on, and we struggled slightly with that I had to hammer home, is that interrupting this ad is like the #1 priority of the fight. Ads and marks are the 2 #1 priorities. The boss will die if you handle the mechanics well and you set up your platforms correctly. So the idea is that people who aren't going up the first time, so the people who are staying down, are going to be primarily responsible for kicking the ad. Granted, if you get the first kick and you're going up, your kick will be up, unless it's like a 30-second cooldown. But everyone else's should be up. So the people down here are actually the ones tasked with kicking. So they're kicking the ad. Now when the ads spawn here, so we're getting it kind of low, like 25, 20 is pretty good. You're going to want to kind of stop on it, and you'll be able to see where the ads are spawning from. So I saw it up here. So there's like a storm mechanic that happens that kind of gives it away. But once the ads spawn, you move it over. Those guys get in position. They did it a little early here because you can see like some guys are running in last second. But you kind of want to milk it an extra like second or two so people can get there in time. And then have the group that's going up execute the ad in like the last 5%. So they go up and they handle it. And I'm going to talk about the platforms with only the second group because it's going to be about the same. Now the other thing with the marks is how you're going to handle charging after blue. So the blue ad spawns and we get marks again, right? So this is the marks that initially would have spawned the blue ad if you didn't speed up the rate that you get the ads. The second most important thing to note here is that, let's see, I'm going to try to explain this, but whatever ad you spawn, regardless of what marker, that ad will consume 10 stacks to spawn. Any other energy placed in another ad will go away once the ad spawns. So if you have 6 on green and 2 on purple and 1 on red, once green spawns, if you charge green up from 6 to 10, all the purples and all the reds will go away and reset to 0. If you spawn green with the same set of marks, you'll go 2 green and then 2 purple, but the 2 green take green up to 10 stacks, and then you put the 2 additional marks in purple. Purple will have 2 stacks. So you have some decisions here to make, where you can either dump more marks ahead to make sure that you're going to hit the interval that you want to hit, or you can slow it down a little and clear all the marks. So to be honest, there's probably like a complete optimal way, but the optimization, accounting for human error, is literally just don't go above 2 stacks and dunk. And what we decided is we're going to always spawn the ad first to give us more time to kill it, and then we'll just deal with the problem later, and eventually we'll clear it. So the marker you're originally at will take the priority, and you'll go 2 there, and then you'll wait, and then you'll go 2 at purple. So, however, now going to the green set, so that was just a whole separate tangent, but going to the green set, the first set of marks that we're going to use green for, we're going to stack 4 in. So you can see they did 2, and now they put it up to 4. So all 4 marks went into green. The reason for that is because a lot of tornadoes can be baited in that direction, and what you're seeing here is if you stand on top of like the green marker per se, the tornado can go on green. So when you're dunking, you only want to be on the markers when you're dunking and not generally, because you'll bait tornadoes there and it'll be a huge pain. You can still dunk with a tornado there, you'll just get knocked around after you dunk it. So now we're killing the second ad here, and you can see the ad cast is coming and we're slowing down damage. Now, sorry, this is the blue one. This is the same one. I got a little confused. That's okay. The first ad goes up, they go up. Now we have 4 at green. So now this next set that comes out in green, in an ideal situation, completely optimal. Okay, we're good. You can do, 4. So we decide to go 4 again. So we're going 4 and then 4. That's exactly what I wanted. Let me pull that back up. So yeah, we go 4 and then 4. Now we're at 8. So ideally, we want to spawn the marks at the next set, or the ad at the next set. However, if you have 3-1 or something, then you just have to dunk 3 here and then 1 in the other one next. Not the end of the world. You can always adapt. Now, for the upstairs group, I'll talk about more when this group goes up. They want to kill the big ad right after the marks cast, because if they come back during the marks, they'll get marks in midair and they'll kill everyone. So now they'll be killing the big ad, and they want to kill it between the marks and the pull-in. So again, we're going to charge 2 on green here. Ad spawns, and we're going to put 2 on purple once this debuff falls off. And kicks, like he's going up next, but he got the first kick because his kick will be back up. So now when this group's already returned, now it's going to be up to the group that was just up to get kicks, generally speaking, and we'll go from there. So mark 6 will come out, and now you see that we dunked 2 at green and 2 at purple in the last set, and purple didn't lose its stacks. But if you did purple first and green second, purple would have lost its stacks. However, again, we just decided we're going to dunk the one we're spawning the ad first so that the ad spawns and we have more time to deal with it. That was the rule of thumb. If the ad is spawned, everything else can be recoverable. If you become late on an ad set, you just have to hard focus it. The pool is recoverable, but it can get a little hectic. So anyway, we're going to dunk 4 into purple here. He's just waiting. That's fine. So they just did. Yep, perfect. 2-2. So, and now we see the ads coming up. Here we go. And it's going to be up to, again, they bring it out, and then the group that's moving over here, they'll execute the ad. And they're going up. And now we're going to talk about the F phase, because every phase has a different, every side had a different strategy. So what you're going to see here is a 4-1 split. This picture here, there's a few options it can be. This is an even split, I like to call it. Everything's just grouped up equally. But as you can see here, this is a 4-1 split. It could be like 3 and 3. It could be like a few things. But at the end of the day, we had Nox in this group assigned. So you can see the Druid. That's the Evoker. The Evoker knocked here and the Druid knocked here. So they knocked them together. And now we're using kicks to stack them all. You don't have to overthink. Just kicking will stack them all. And once they're grouped, if you can get them grouped, this becomes a joke. And the other thing to note is getting stuns near the end of their cast is really important. We'll talk about that in a second, but I want to back up. So, when we go up, we have interrupt orders set. So, who has the longest lockout in this group, or in a long range interrupt, would be a mage. So what's happening is you can see counterspell was cast. Alright? And again, as I said, the boss, when these ads get a cast on the main platform up here, the boss gets a stack that does more damage to everyone. This guy's getting a cast no matter what. But you don't want him to continually cast into the boss, because then you get 2, 3, 4 stacks and he'll just wipe you. So once he's in range, he's counterspelling, and the tank is trying to taunt it, right? And from here, the kick order is going to be a melee DPS and then a tank on the big guy. So what's going to happen here? Melee DPS, and then tank's going to get it next. Melee DPS, tank, melee DPS. It's the same melee and the same tank. We used a shaman in our tank here. So we did mage, melee, tank. If you don't have 2 mages, arcane or MM hunters can also do it. We had an elemental shaman do it on like our reclear, and you know they have like a kind of bad kick for that situation. But again, that was a reclear. But the ideal situation is get the mage to do it. So we get everything grouped using knockbacks and assignments, and we're staring at this marks cast. All right, so we don't want to come back after this marks cast. So right now in comms we're saying chill, 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 because we need this marks cast to finish before we go. So now we can push. Once these spawn here, basically is the cue. You want to bait them away from the edge. You bait them away, and then you kill, and then you go back right before the pull in. So that was done absolutely perfectly, actually. So we're heading back. And to watch it one more time, there's a few things going on here. So we have kicks assigned. So this is what I was saying. This is too early for this. This is not 100% accurate. It's really not worth for me to go in exactly what we did. But what we basically did is we had assignments. So like you see the Evoker, assign the push in. Druid, assign the push in. Hunters, they are trying to get kicks on ones that might need a kick to group. So like the Evoker got that one, but like you know Hunters would try to get some kind of kick. This is not my POV. I'm the other hunter, but I took like Wailing Arrow just to silence them all and group them all up. He didn't take Wailing Arrow, which is completely fine. You only really need one. So each group has basically a CC order single CC order to get them in, and then a AoE CC near the end of the cast. So the longer you're up here, the more damage it's doing, as you can see from this debuff. So near the end of these casts, the Storm Bolts actually start to hurt. The beginning, the Storm Bolts don't really do anything. So we get them low, and then we got like you see a DB there. There was supposed to be a DH stun. I don't know if that went off. And then single interrupts can rack them up. But like letting kicks through is not the end of the world. You just want to stop some of them near the end. So again, we're going back, and we're heading back. And now the fight basically repeats itself. So when we were up there, they spawned the green guy. They spawned the purple guy, and they have 2 stacks on red. So what they did is they did 4 in the purple, 4 in the purple, 2 in the purple, 2 in the red. That's what they were doing when we were up there, which is the same thing we did on the last ad. So the purple guy's out, and the ad spawned in 30 seconds. So right now, like the hunters basically like kind of helped a lot with the ads because they're easy for us to hit with our marksman range. But again, we're just whittling the ad down. Some people are just cleaving off the boss on the ad. And again, the marks come out, and we're trying to get 4 into red with a 2-2 formation. However, like if in Prague, like if someone's here and they can't make it to red, just dump it in like yellow or something. Like, and you go to 7, then you just go 3 red next time. You can always work around it if you have a full understanding, if every raider has a full understanding of what's happening. And in this fight, I usually shot call from the outside in these situations, but we actually had one of our balanced druids who was behind a week of gear, who also does a lot of shot calling, stay on the outside and call all of this for us. So he was like the brains behind the whole marks, and we just did exactly what he said because he was just thinking about the next steps involved. So again, the people who just went up, they're getting the kicks because you don't want to have the kicks on cooldown for the ad people going up. And once the ads spawn, the tanks will see it coming. Again, there it is. And they're going up. Now, I didn't talk about this knockback. You can actually live it with like non-disengaged people, but you have to be like, your tanks have to be in like a somewhat good spot with the ad, and then on top of that, the player has to be close to the ad. It's livable. If you play one of those classes, they'll know what they're doing. But again, like taking what I talked about at the beginning, taking those safe classes makes that mechanic a lot easier. So again, we're going to go 2 on red here. So these guys go red. And it should be then 2 more on yellow. Here he is. That's 1. And I don't know what happened to the other yellow one. Maybe he died? Yeah, okay. That's what happened. So when you die with the mark, the mark goes away. So he had it, he died. That's actually happening right here. In a perfect situation, he blocks. I haven't talked about immunities yet, but I will near the end. But whatever. So he died with the mark, which is why you see like 8 and 1. Again, not a big deal. So this is the one set on the whole fight where you want to dunk the head one first. So we're near the end of the fight here because the third ad group is up and we're about to spawn the red one. Now you don't use the yellow ad to go up on the platform to kill it because you'll see why. Just trust. So the yellow one is basically used as a like you charge it to get rid of marks, but once the ad's out, then the marks just start going on everyone, and then when they go on everyone, that's basically the range of the fight. That plus the 5th ad's casting on you, but we'll go over that. So in this situation, we have 8-1. So in a perfect world, and you'll probably hear in the comms, that we're saying dunk 2 yellow first, then dunk red. So yes, the ad will spawn like 7 or 8 seconds later, but we're basically extending the enrage. So you can see like the yellow guy going. That's 1. The other guy dunked because he lost 1. And now they're going to dunk red, so that's 2 in yellow. And now the yellow ones, look at that. They cleared. We just deleted 3 marks from this set. They're gone. And now the yellow one is at 0. Absolutely perfect. And again, we're starting to get kicks on this guy. So he got the kick here. Even though he's going up, his kick will be back up, and the people who rejoined will be able to. I don't like that turtle, but they'll be able to get the kicks. So now going up. Now yellow is the only one left to dunk, so they're dunking on yellow right now. They're going 2-2, but we have no intention of using that ad for anything. So we're watching the timer, and they're moving it over. The group's getting position, and this group's going to execute the ads, and we're going to head up. We want to beat this marks cast. Usually, you always want to beat the marks cast, and you're going by. I didn't mention that. So we're going to go up, and it's the same. So this is an even spread. Remember when I was talking about the different spreads? This is the 3-3. So push-ins, interrupts, wailing arrow, blah, blah, blah. Everything's together. Good. All right. And so we're slowly grouping them. Cap totem. Now the AoEs are going to start being used. And we're going down. And then we want to wait for this marks cast. So we're waiting. And we're probably saying slow damage down just a tad. And push now. Which is what we did. We're pushing and we're coming back. So we're coming back. And, oh, okay. This can happen on pulls. This is a really bad position for this person to be in. So sometimes it didn't happen this pull, but let's say we are at the dunking of the red section here. The dunks and the people coming back at the same time can overlap. So if you're dunking, you have to dunk instantly, and when you're coming back, you have to make sure you're not landing on them dunking. So this guy was in a pretty bad spot because they knew we were up here and they were standing in our way, so we got kind of lucky that we didn't just get a bunch of marks. But now that you can see that the yellow thing has 9 stacks, so at this point, the 9 stacks, they've basically put it in there, and next one that dunks will spawn the ad. So like there's no reason for this guy to run over there, and he's tanky. So the next like really squishy person or whatever will just dunk the ad. Yeah, I'm probably saying the evoker should dunk it. So the evoker dunks, and now the tank is going to pick this up and just tank it out. They can run in and get cleave if they want, depending on the percent, and now it's just a strict burn. These ads are going to spawn here. Where are they? They might already be up. Yeah, they're up here. So the ads are already up here, and they're just hard casting on us. And you can see this because the boss has 2 stacks. So now you're playing with like a soft enrage. So the boss is getting more and more and more and more stacks. So anything you're going to get hit with right now is going to kill you, and the mark damage is ramping up. So like the idea is to beat this pull-in 6 seconds. This pull-in will kill the majority of your raid, or in 16 seconds. So we're going and we're going with just single target burn. There is a strategy where you can kill this ad and send up a tank and 1 healer and just like kick the ad up there and just like keep CCing. Don't really think that's 100% necessary. Just keep getting kicks down here and you're good to go. So again, we beat the pull-in barely. And you can see like the pull-in will start to chunk really hard. Not everyone will die to the pull-in, but it's basically gonna like if you're not like sub 5% by then, it's over. And that's Dathea. But I do want to talk about the power of immunities, because immunities can really save a pool, and the player doesn't really have to say anything to make it work. So like if you're a paladin, a mage, a rogue, anyone with that hard immunity, not like a hunter as a deflect, that's different. Like just a pure immunity, just this debuff's gone from me. You can get rid of the mark like that. So in that last phase, if you're a mage, if you're a rogue, if you're a paladin, you get the mark, you can bubble it off, you can cloak it off, it's gone. However, you can use that power earlier in the fight too. So if you duplicate a mark by accident, you can immune it off. It doesn't even have to be like you don't even have to be the one that duplicates it. Like you can have a mark, your raiders duplicate on each other, you clear. You know, it's like you have 4 marks all of a sudden instead of 5. You can also duplicate if you get a lot of incoming damage and you don't want to go up to another stack. And at the end, like duplicating, keeping the marks as low as possible reduces the raid healing by quite a lot. So again, munis are extremely good here. The hunters can pre-turtle. So like what I said is I don't really like what he did when I'm watching his POVs, because I think he pre-turtled too early, because you're basically flipping a coin. Like it's like RNG. Like what are the chances that the mark is going to go on you? So if no one has a mark, the chances are lower than like if half the raid has a mark. So in my opinion, like pre-turtling, like when you come back, like maybe there's like a 50% chance to get the mark instead of like a 20% chance. So you like to play those odds. And their ad would be up at that point, so like there's no way for you to dunk it, and you're a squishy class. A lot of things can go into play. But again, not the end of the world. That's Dathea. Again, it takes a lot of prep. I would really hammer down every detail about the marks and educate your raiders on how they work, because you will struggle mightily if they do not understand how they work. If you don't go the 3 stacks, and if you get kicks on the big ads, this boss will die. Deal with marks, kick the big guys, boss dies. The tornadoes, they don't do that much damage. The small guys up there, as long as they're grouped, they don't do that much damage. Get kicks on the big guys, kill the big guys at the right time, do the marks correctly. So Dathea, A little complicated on the setup. The strategy is not the easiest to comprehend, but once you're there, everything will fit together and the boss will die. That's all I have for Dathea. You can leave me any questions in the comments. Again, I don't share spreadsheets or weak auras. Maybe I'll do that at the end. It's just every guild does it a little different. The spreadsheet, I just want to make sure I pull everything together, and I'll do that at the end. But other than that, good luck. And Broodkeeper's next, so look out for that. And I'm out. Peace.